Today we're going to be playing a game called Empyrion-Galactic Survival. This game takes place obviously in space. I guess we are crash landed here on a desert planet to start off. And the very first thing we're going to start off with is basically getting our base started and getting our basics to surviving up and running. So just sit back and relax and let's get this started. Alrighty, well, let's go. So here we have the ship. Just sitting here, it's all beat up and busted. Like we got all dents and dings and it's missing landing gear down here at the bottom. And for those of you who are new to the game, there's several things that you want to make note of. Like these right here, those are storage containers. You access them by pressing T, and we've got all kinds of fun stuff inside of here. And I like to pull all these resources out immediately. Like anything that's a resource, I'm going to go ahead and leave those inside, because I don't see much of a point at all to pull them out at the moment. Just because we don't need them yet. And we have a pistol there, but we have a pistol right here. Projectile pistol, projectile pistol. I don't see any point to have two pistols on me at the moment. I am going to take the extra ammo though. For sure, just so I'm ready to kill things. And I'm going to have the food ready, because I need food and the medkits. And this Flattener Tool and its recharge. Alright, and here's the other one. We have fuel packs. Fuel is important. Oxygen generator. We'll show you where to put that here in a second. Oxygen bottles, those are important, and we need this core, and here's a light. So that's all the stuff that starts you off with. Now right here is the oxygen tank. So we're going to walk up to here and we're going to push T. We have these oxygen bottles, so 1, 1. Then we'll go to this one, T. And we'll put the oxygen bottle inside of there. Boom, oxygen bottles have been placed inside. And right there is the oxygen station. Whenever your little oxygen bottle, oxygen gauge down there gets low, we walk up to it and you get oxygen. Boom, Bob's your uncle, you have oxygen again. Hell yeah. And now, well, how do I build things? I'll show you. Here is your fuel tank. Well, fuel tank's no good without fuel, so we're going to go ahead and put fuel inside of the fuel tank. So now we have fuel in our fuel tank. Actually, we're going to take, like, let's say 2 of those out of there. And up here is where you build stuff. And right now the ship isn't turned on, so we can't build anything at all. But you can go ahead and put all these resources, because it starts you off with a whole bunch of shit. Like, plenty of resources to start off with. So why not go ahead and put those in there? Because they are so nice and they give us so much stuff to start off with. Nice guys. Thank you so much for giving us all this shit. And, well, we can't build anything. And we want to get our base started for the most part, so we're going to want to build this right here, base starter, which needs 8 gray hull blocks, which are located right here. This is a hull block, which needs 2 metal plates. Now you might be asking yourself, where are the metal plates located? Well, I will show you. Right here is the components. A metal component is a part of the hull block. So we'll go here, and here we have metal plates, which it takes 5 iron ingots to make a metal plate, but each 5 iron ingots makes 10 metal plates. So for right now, we're going to hold down Shift, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to use 10 iron ingots to make 20 plates, because we'll end up needing it anyway. Actually, we're going to go ahead and make a total of 40 metal plates. So it says 20 there, but it's going to give us more than that. So it'll be perfect. It's actually going to give us way more. I'm terrible at math, so please excuse me. But you see it's not crafting yet, so we need to go over here, and we look at the cockpit, and it says press T to enter. Now right now we can't fly the ship. That's okay, not a big deal. Not a big deal whatsoever. So we're going to go ahead and push the letter Y on our keyboard. Boom, we have power. We are now crafting. So we're going to push T here to look at that, and look, we are making metal plates. We are doing it. Everything is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing right now. So we're going to wait for a second. We've already got 20, so we should by all means be able to make these. So we're going to make a few of them. I'm going to say let's go ahead and make about 10 to 20 of them. That way we're just ready to go. There's no sense in not being ready. And we need this core. I forgot to put it in here, so we got the core ready. So let's go ahead and click the base starter over here to be ready. So click, And once that's all finished, it'll be there. So let's go ahead and place our oxygen generator. Whoop, that doesn't go in there. Excuse me. So oxygen generator. We put it right here. And let's see. Just a moment to get my bearings straight. And this way. Alright, over here we have a big old pool of water. So we're going to run over here to where the water lives. That's right, because apparently the water has its own sentient life. Now, food for thought. This one's green. This one's green. I want you to remember that this one's green. So we see the green one, it's kind of tall. I did not realize that the green ones were different than the brown ones because I couldn't tell the difference from far away. So I was almost dead at one point in time when I was playing on Twitch. And I shot the green one thinking it was a brown one, and the green ones are very angry. And it did in fact kill me very quickly. So the brown ones are okay, the green ones are very pissed off. So careful. Anyway, oxygen generator. We walk up to the water and boom, place it. And then you can push T, and we're going to take these 2 fuel packs and we're going to place them inside, and now it's going to be creating water. So it's going to operate for approximately 48 minutes. So while that escape pod over there is creating that stuff, we're going to go over to where it says Promethium deposit. And we want to do all this fairly quickly, just because, you know, we need to get a lot of stuff done in a short period of time. That way we can start making food, we can start doing a whole bunch of things. Which also, once after we grab some of this promethium, we're going to go back over to the water area, and I'm going to show you a few little tips and tricks to getting some food. Like where we can find food. Which also, just so you know, there are some things over here that want to kill you. It's actually already walking over to me. So, let's pull out the gun. Here, you can push J to turn on your jetpack. There he is. It's a scorpion. If you shoot it in the tail, it counts as a headshot. So just bear in mind that tail shots are headshots somehow. I'm a terrible, terrible shot. There we go. And you can get meat and stuff off of these guys, so that's always good. Unfortunately, we have no way to cook the meat, and I don't know if that makes you sick or anything. Oh, minus 15 health if you eat it raw. So don't eat it raw. Alright. Back to what we're doing. Promethium is fuel. Fuel is promethium. Eventually you will exhaust this mine, but it takes a good minute to do so. I made enough fuel to last me a very long time, and the promethium looks super, super duper cool. So let's go ahead and mine some of this up. I don't know exactly how long it stays on the ground. I usually mine up quite a bit of it, and then I pick it all up. So we're mining. Which I try to mine all of it like from an area so I don't leave a bunch laying behind me. Because, I don't know. I just prefer to get as much as humanly possible. Like this back here that bothers me. Because I'll come back later when the mine's almost depleted and I'll see these little tiny patches and think, oh, thank God there's still, nope, nothing there. And I'll do it over and over again. Just thinking that I have a little bit left, but it's not there. There's nothing. I'm sure you can understand. Maybe that's some anal retentive tendencies, I don't know. But I'd much prefer to not trick myself into going back for something that doesn't actually exist at that point in time. So, now, you're going to see me jump back to the ship here in a minute. Actually, you're going to see me jump back to the lake here in a minute, excuse me. Because I'm not going to make you watch me mine all this promethium. Okay, we are now back at the water. As you can tell, this is water. We are there. And I just want to show you a few quick things at the water. This is a kava bean. You want to pick this plant right here, anytime you see it really, and alien spike lemon. There's a whole lot of different resources out here that you want to just pick up and start collecting, including these little corn dogs. Obviously their name implies something. Yes, you can eat them, but you definitely want to get those kava beans because you can make coffee out of them, because you use those to, you guessed it, make coffee. And the coffee helps with your stamina problem, so if you have to run a long distance, you can use the coffee to not run out of stamina, or to gain back your stamina quickly. So it's always good to do. Also, do note that whenever you turn on your jetpack, I'm holding down shift to sprint, but I'm not sprinting. You may notice this, or have no idea what I'm talking about. So, you can't sprint whenever you have your jetpack on, but when you turn it off, you sure as shit can sprint. Just making sure here that you do remember to go back and make fuel. Because if you run out of fuel in the very beginning of the game, I'm fairly certain that you've just run out of fuel. And you don't want to do that. So let's look and see where we're at, because we only have one fuel tank left, because I was not paying attention. So that's never good. Which is fine, because guess what? We can make some more. So let's make some more fuel real quick. As much as we can make. So let's go ahead and get that started. While we're in the process of making fuel, there's a few other things that we can work on. We're just going to make as much fuel as we possibly can. And we got 152 protheum ore out of that little mine over there, which is fantastic, because you can check and see, you see you have 152 down there. You look at the little pills, which are right here, and again, they are underneath the components. You look at it, it says protheum pellets. Okay, so you check here and you see protheum pellets. It takes 1 ore, and you get 10. So at 152, that's a shitload of ore, isn't it? So let's put in the max amount, and it's just a whole bunch, so I'm just going to keep clicking until I run out of amounts that I can click. Which I'm pretty sure it's 1,000 something, so I'll be clicking for a good time. And of course, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch this whole entire process of me making all this stuff, so we'll go ahead and show you the best places to put the base. Which, also, make sure you pay attention to your oxygen levels. Anyway, so we're going to walk back over near the water, because I keep... First thing we're going to do, before we walk back over to the water, is we're going to grab the base starter, and we're going to grab some blocks. Because it's a good idea to grab your base starter and your blocks, because you need to start your base, of course. So here's our blocks. We got 12, and base starter. Okay, so we are well on our way to where we need to be, and that's going to take a long time. So we've got our fuel packs. Let's go ahead and put more fuel in here so it doesn't die out on us, because we don't want to come back and see that it's only done like 12 of them and then say, oh shit, I've still got this much left to craft and it's only done nothing, because that's no fun. So back to water. So basically what you want to do is you're going to put your base starter in your hand here, and we're going to put some blocks in your hand. Because it's a good idea to put your base near the water. And you see how it's red? You got to look around for a while and find a nice flat spot near the water's edge that is, of course, like I said, flat, and the block turns blue. So once again, while I look for a spot, we're going to show you the Flattener Tool, because it's really hard to find flat land by the water. So the way you use this is you click. So we're going to click and we're going to smooth out some land until we can put this down. And we're doing it. We're doing it, guys. Because that is not very flat. So give me just a moment, and as soon as I get this nice and flattened out and a nice little base built, I will come back to you. But basically that's it, and you left click to raise it, right click to destroy it. There we have our base. I decided to give us a nice little oceanfront view. So you see I used the Flattener tool to raise up the ground over here. Actually, we're going to take that down just a little bit right there. A little bit right there, that looks silly. Looks silly. Well, apparently it doesn't want to go down, but you know what? That's just fine. Okay, so, and these little blocks right here. We're going to go to the number 4, and you'll notice that they are a pain in the butt. And sometimes a block placement can be a little janky, but you see that we can put them right here, and I like to expand it out like one layer around it. I like to go one wider, just to make it a little bit thicker. You know, because everybody likes it just a little bit thicker, right? Yuck, 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 yuck. And yeah, it does look like it's floating a little bit, and you can always go around the base and raise it up a little bit. For now, you know, we'll have to make some more blocks eventually, just so we can finish that off. We can push J and flat it up here, and you know, our base is just a little bit wider, and we're going to leave this whole side open We'll put all of our power generators and stuff on one side, probably right over here, because it makes sense. And let's head back over to the base. And you notice there that the oxygen level is getting low. So this is the point where I'm going to show you the how the oxygen thing works back at the escape pod. And I'm also going to show you something else that's pretty cool about the escape pod. Now remember what I told you about the jetpack? Like, I got that turned on right now. So we're going to push J and turn it off and sprint over. Because we're getting crazy low on oxygen. And we don't want to be low on oxygen, do we? Because we'll die. So we just walked over to here and it says oxygen is refilling. And now we have oxygen. So our oxygen is full now. And also, another cool thing that we can do, and I'd like to show you, is we can get inside of our ship and push the letter P for Papa. And unit properties, we can turn that on. And we'll see over here there's a bunch of missing stuff, and that is for a later video. So we can click here where it says overall status and it says escape pod. We can change this to my ship. Or blah! Exclamation point. But we'll just call it MF ship. For all practical purposes. For now. Okay, so let's check and see the status of our fuel and stuff. We are still making fuel and stuff. It's going to be a while. Actually, we're not even making fuel at this point. We're still making promethium pellets. So, again, it's going to be another brief pause, and we'll come back when we can start building constructions for on the base. Okay, so it looks like we're done making all of that shit finally. Let's check our fuel tanks. We still have enough for now. We'll put some in there. So the things that we need to make first and foremost to take over to our little platform over there, which, by the way, this is not the final build. You can deconstruct and reconstruct all of this stuff. Is we need to make small fuel tanks. So we need to make 4 electronics, 4 metal components, and 3 cables. So what I like to do whenever I do this is I look at everything I need first. So I go 4 electronics. Okay. I click over and say 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I click back and I look again. 4 metal components. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I come back and I say 3 cables. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to look at the next one. Which, by the way, there's a difference between this fuel tank. That's for the ship. This is not. There's a difference between this generator. This generator is for the ship. This one is not. The small generator is the one that you want to take over to your little house. So we need 12 metal components for that. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Which then, makes the process feel like it takes forever. We need 2 capacitor devices. And this is where things start getting tricky, because you're going to see that the capacitor devices need 3 electronics, 3 cables, and 5 metal components. So you're going to want to make all of that. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because if you don't, then you're going to run out of components for everything else. And reactor core. So you're going to go back to that. Reactor core, we need a motor. To make a motor, we need 2 metal components, so 1, 2. Cables, 3, 1, 2, 3. And 1 electronics. Because if you don't do it that way, then you're going to have to go back and you'll keep running out of things. You'll have to keep doing it over and over and over again. And all things considered, the easiest way to do it is just to do it this way. I mean, you can find your own special way to do it, but if you don't, this is the way that I found worked best for me. Because I don't like going back and doing it over and over again. And then I need 2 computers. Computers are fun ones. They need a lot of stuff. Control device is 1. Control device. Metal components 2. 1, 2. Cables 2. 1, 2. And they start you off with enough resources to get a pretty decent beginner base started. Cables 2. We already did 2 cables, didn't we? Electronics 2. 1, 2. Okay. So I believe that was everything for that. Oh, except for, of course, actually clicking on the final of anything. So, okay. That's all of that. generators. We need to actually click core. We need to do the reactor core and click the computer. Okay, cap devices 2. See what I mean whenever it gets a little confusing? It's just a little bit confusing on the occasion. So this is a capacitor device. We forgot to make anything for that. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can also hold shift click to do 10 at a time. I'm going to make 2 of those. 1, 2, 3. Because that needed a computer too, didn't it? No. That didn't need a computer. Which is okay. Okay. So we've finally got everything built that we need to get built to take over to the base for now. There's our water generator. And I went ahead and built a few extra blocks of different kinds. I like these truss blocks because they look cool. That's basically the only reason I like them. And I did build a light. I like to have a light. They're pretty cool. So I made some extra fuel to take with us over there. You can see I'm building extra fuel and some more iron ingots because yes, during the pause, this super long pause is actually about 40 minutes worth of a pause. Mostly because while I was doing stuff, actually ran up and did stuff around the house, blah blah blah. You don't even care because you didn't know what was happening. But as far as you know, I'm either really really fast or I paused the video for a really long time. One of those two things happened. Something I forgot to bring up to you is that you should probably build one of these items right here called a remove and repair tool. It's very useful. I believe that I built one somewhere. Apparently I did not build one. That's okay. I will build one later, but you should build one of these like super early on in the game because it's very important to have. For like whenever you place a block wrong or you want to repair something. I'll show you an example of something you want to repair here in just a moment. But first, let's put this right here. We're going to move all this stuff over so we can put it in our hands so we can actually use it. And I waited until daybreak so that you guys can see, you know, daylight of course. Because daylight's super important. That way we can see, hence why I put in a light. And again, how's our oxygen doing? It's doing okay, but I'm going to go ahead and fill it. Okay. So, new base, right over there. Oh, and you can also rename this. Once we get to it, I'll show you how to do that. Which it's super simple as well. Yep. There's that super mean green dinosaur that doesn't attack you unless you attack it first. So, we're going to go ahead and name him, let's say, Frank. His name is Mr. Frank. That'll be his name from this point on. His name is Mr. Frank. And we'll push J so we can actually jump up there with our jetpack. And then, was it P? Yep, we push P. We can name it to THEMF base. No, that's at signs. We want exclamation points because it's the base. The motherfucking base. Or MFN base. On. Oh, but there's no power. What do we do? Well, first of all, I want to finish putting these blocks down because it doesn't make sense for me not to have them down. It's bothering me to see it halfway there. So we're going to finish that off right quick. There, that is so much better. And we're going to go back here real quick. Just because this is the backside and I actually want to keep that nice, beautiful water view. Don't you guys like the view of the water? And we're going to come right over here. And that looks about like the middle. It is the middle. Fantastic. And we're going to switch up to number 1 to the truss block. Just because I like this block. But I want it to go one higher than that. Oh, if I can do it. There we go. Sorry, this is not even an important part. I just wanted to put it in here because I want to have a little bit of light. Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and put that there. And let's finish it off down here because it feels weird not having it there, you know. Like it's just kind of sitting there, chilling. We don't have enough to finish it off, so that's fine. That way we can come right here to the middle, look there, push the number 8, and I believe we now have a light. Except for it's not working because we need to first find where we want to put our generator. And this is by no means the end all of the base. This is just what we currently have. Now you might notice this is in a weird spot. We can push delete to rotate it in these directions right here. We can push insert to rotate it the other direction of those directions. We can push the end key to rotate it sideways. You know, in that plane. We can push home to rotate it the opposite direction, and page up and page down to rotate it that way. Apparently we can't put it, like I want to put it facing up and down, but I'm not quite sure I can. However, I can put it way up there, and yeah, I like that idea. So let's try and turn it sideways. Oh, we can turn it sideways, that's great. There we go. So let's put this right up there, because now it's out of the way. We're going to do the exact same things with our fuel tanks here. We'll go ahead and place the fuel tanks up on the top two, because I feel like that's a good place for them. Let's rotate these, and mostly just because I want them up and out of the way. That gives us all this extra space. Yeah, it looks kind of silly with them like that, but actually it doesn't. I think it looks cool. I like it. I like it just like that. It's up and out of the way. It's a small base. Eventually it will get bigger, yes, but for now this is just fine. And of course, let's put some fuel in there, and we'll walk over here to this one, and you have to remember to do this or it won't work. We push Y. Where's the T? Why don't you turn it on? There we go. So I just pushed P. I think that was for the whole entire base, but I believe it's Y. Yeah, it's Y to turn it on. Because I played with that earlier, that's my bad. And now we need to place our food processor, which I think right here is a good place for it. Let's go ahead and rotate it. Of course I'm rotating the wrong direction. I'm rotating the wrong direction again, damn it. There we go. We'll put that right there. We'll come over here against this thing as to not impede our nice beautiful view of the water out there. So there you have it, that's a basic part of the base. The next thing that we'll want to build is actually the large constructor. But for now, this is going to be the basics of the base. And what I'm going to do here is actually, so we can have even more light, or not more light, well yeah, we'll have more light, but this is the basic layout. What I want to go with on my base here is we're going to make more of those little beams like we have up there, and put 2 more lights right next to that light right there. That way we can see more, and we'll go see if we have enough resources right now to build the large constructor. But at the moment, we need to go and place our water maker thingy with what's name I've forgotten at this point in time. Water generator. So, of course, like everything else, you need to place it and then fill it up with fuel. And it automatically takes 1 fuel out, so I always bring 1 extra fuel with everything I do, if, you know, it warrants it. And I think this thing's probably needs to be topped off. And see that now we have 32 oxygen tanks in this, and these things make their stuff fairly quickly. It tells you at what rate that it goes. I don't ever pay attention. I just come back after a while and pick it up. So, and that's how I do it. You can do it however you'd like. And the food processor has plenty of options. What I usually go with right here is the salami, because it keeps for a very long time. You can look over there to the side and you can see the craft time 5 seconds, blah blah blah. We can look down and see perish time 70. So it has a very long perish time. Like this one's 20. This one's perish time doesn't exist, but it also takes a whole lot of stuff. You got to collect a lot of materials for it. So this is my basic base, the way that I recommend doing it to start off. You don't have to build it exactly like that, but you know, something similar is the way I recommend to do it. Next thing we're going to build is a large constructor. So we're going to stop crafting all of this fuel because we have 210. That's plenty of fuel for now. You know, of course, eventually we'll need more. So we need a large constructor. We need 2 computers. Where are we going? And like I said before, I like to go down the list, so I'll build everything as it comes down the list. So we're going to pause the video again while I build all this stuff. Okay, now we are finally making our large constructor. It's going to be the last place to get the basics of our base made, because I know I said it's not really one of the basics, but I'm a liar. It actually should be considered one of your basic pieces, because like you can see down here, we're missing something from right here, because it gives you enough resources to get a whole lot of things made, and a large constructor allows you to make more stuff to get a whole lot of things started. More weapons, because right here you see we can make up to an assault rifle, shotgun, make all these tools, a color tool so we can paint our ship cool colors, all kinds of ammo, but that's it. We can't make any weapons or anything to put on the ship. We can only make ground vehicle parts. That's what the green dot means, by the way. It's for ground stuff. You see that that's blue and green, but the green we can make it go into the air. Now we have our large constructor here. Let's see, do we have enough resources left over? Yeah, we can make our repair removal tools, so let's go ahead and get that made real quick before I forget again and walk off and continuously not make it over and over and over again. I also took the liberty to make more truss blocks so we can finish that off real quick. And some more lights. Because I figured, why not? We have a little bit of time to make, or time to kill. So here's your repair removal tool. That means that you can take that little tool, let's find where it went, there it is, and we'll put it into the 6 right here, pull it out, and you see these little dents right here. We're going to go ahead and right click, and we just fix the dents, and now it's round again. Which, by the way, as soon as the reason we haven't built a whole lot of this other stuff over on the base is because it's right here, and at the moment, you know, we're just now starting off, and we don't need any of this other stuff over at the base yet. We can work on that way later whenever we decide that, okay, we're comfortable, you know, we're exploring space, we have plenty of resources, we don't need this. Cross your fingers, Connie. Oh, turn off that fan and the bedroom light. Okay, wait a second.
Wait. Why?
Turn on the bedroom light. Thank you. And there you have it, our large constructor added to the base. We go up here and press that magical button T, and we can look inside and see our weapons tab. We have added a whole bunch of new weapons in here that we didn't see before. I'm not going to show you what they all are, except for this one. Sweet. Minigun. Hell yeah. Whole bunch of new stuff inside of here. And a thing that I might want to point out to you guys that you probably want to try and build. Let me see right here. We have an oxygen station. You want to build this in your base pretty quickly. And oxygen tank. That way you can store more oxygen inside of this and use this oxygen station so you don't have to rely on the ship all the time. Just in case you, by chance, your ship gets shot, or not these oxygen tanks, this oxygen tank in the station, just in case your ship gets shot down somewhere and you have to run back to base, you need oxygen, bam, you got a station at the base. And this fridge gets stuck on the ship, so you can store food on the ship. This fridge you can put on the base. I want you to know the difference. This one looks like a storage box, and you can put it onto the ship. This one you can put it onto the base. Alright, so those are a couple little differences right there. And there's all kinds of new things you can build in here. There's this cool antenna thing. And here's all of your thrusters and stuff, which will be in the next video on how to make your ship fly. That video should be much, much shorter, and a whole bunch of different lighting options. And there you have it. A bunch of new things we've learned about today. And There you go. And here is our base, completely finished, or at least our starter base. We have the lights there for nighttime, everything that we need to start off with. We got our gun here so we can go hunting for some food. We have our oxygen generator, our water generator, and by the way, you can use water to help regenerate stamina when you're running around doing stuff. And I recommend at this time that you go up there to the top of the mountain and collect copper, collect iron, and if you run past your ship, continue that way, you can collect more magnesium so you can make more bullets. And also I recommend making a different type of gun to go over and explore that ship over there, because there's plenty of containers where you can make loot to start the next part where you start working on your ship. And that will be our next video, where I show you how to completely build the ship and how to properly make it so you can fly it around and do stuff, including my preferred method of putting the guns on. Thank you very much, guys, for viewing this video, and you have a wonderful time. And stay tuned for credits. And thank you very much for watching my video on building your starter base here in Empyrion-Galactic Survival. I hope it helped you all very much in getting your base started, and I know it was a lengthy video, but it is totally worth it. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button there at the bottom, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, guys. And Czar's pick of the week is Ditto Gaming. He does Pokemon, he does Minecraft. The videos are very well done. I enjoyed watching them, very informative, very fun to watch. And check them out, like them, subscribe to them, and enjoy. See you next time. Did you see where I put my hat? I sure didn't. Maybe.